Back on the Detroit River, Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick as we get ready for the APBA Gold Cup run. Miss Budweiser, Bernie Little's boat. Tom Deeth will be driving it, looking for their second consecutive Gold Cup. Mr. Pringles, the U8, George Woods Jr. in there to do battle, along with the Miss Circus Circus U31, Chip Hanauer, who would like to restart his string of Gold Cup wins. Oh Boy Oberto, the U2, Mark Tate in his first ever Gold Cup competition. Jerry Hopp in the Paddock Pools, U7, happy to be among the field of competitors. The Holset Miss Madison, U6, Mike Hansen, engine problems all day long, but he's up and running for the final heat.
And it doesn't matter how many points you have, whoever takes the checker flag in this one wins it all.
That's what we like best about this. It is truly a winner-take-all situation. Budweiser on the outside of Miss Circus Circus. Mr. Pringles on the inside, lane number 1. As they come down, they were a little bit early on the start. Now Miss Budweiser powers it on, and Miss Budweiser is first across the line. So Tom Deeth leads into Miss Budweiser, but remember, Tom generally prefers to be on the inside. This time he is outside of the rest of the field. Let's see if he holds on to that lane or if he opts to go inside. Circus Circus, it looks like, has swung to the outside. Mr. Pringles still in lane 1, but the boat in command, looking for his second consecutive Gold Cup. Tom Deeth in the Miss Budweiser.
As he comes down by the Detroit Boat Club, he shakes it loose, gets it back up. You can see that rooster tail rising. That's the smoothest part of the course. As we told you before, 500,000 fans are lining the shores on both sides of the Detroit River as Miss Budweiser here on lap number 1.
Miss Budweiser is in first place. Trailing him just by a matter of boat lengths, the Miss Circus Circus, Chip Hanauer. And right behind him is the Mr. Pringles, third place, George Woods Jr. But this is the story of the race so far. Tremendous speed being turned in by Tom Deeth in the Miss Budweiser. Listen to the crowd. They are really getting behind their two favorites out here. 152.773 miles per hour. We remind everybody watching, this is not a banked course. These boats literally slide through the turn. They have a big skid fin that kicks in on the turn and literally holds the boat on top of the water.
Dick, we've just received word from the officials that the second place boat is not the Circus Circus with Chip Hanauer. It'll be the Mr. Pringles. Circus Circus has been penalized an extra lap for changing lanes just before the start.
So George Woods Jr. in the Mr. Pringles, now officially riding in second place. We should make mention also that Steve Woomer and Jim Kropfeld and the Winston Eagle crew made the decision. Their boat was not running the way they wanted it to run. They decided not to enter into the Gold Cup race this week.
Tommy Deeth comes right at you, 151.153 mile an hour in the Miss Budweiser. Well on its way, if the engine holds together, to his second consecutive Gold Cup victory.
Riding in fourth place is the rookie driver, Oh Boy Oberto, Mark Tate, who must have some pounding heart in his ears right now because this is the first time he's ever driven a Gold Cup race, and it happens to be on his home course in Detroit, Michigan. Look at this as they start lapping the field. The Miss Budweiser and the Holset Miss Madison, Mike Hansen, kind of evening things up there, riding side by side, at least for the moment. Miss Budweiser is in a position to start passing the Holset Miss Madison, which would be his first pass on the rest of the field.
This boat on the inside, the Holset Miss Madison, can either run a turbine engine or a reciprocating engine. It is running a reciprocating engine at this particular time as the turbine-powered Miss Budweiser laps him and goes down to complete another lap.
There you see a good shot of the Holset Miss Madison, Mike Hansen, who's holding his boat in contention right now. He'd like nothing better than to find a little bit of extra power. Now the Miss Budweiser is trying to come up on the back end of Mark Tate in the Oh Boy Oberto. He does so, and he puts that boat down a lap. So the third place boat and the fourth place boat now down a lap on the rest of the field. And look at this, damage to the Miss Circus Circus.
She could have taken that damage when she changed lanes in water. Something came loose. The horizontal wing is flapping down on the left side, and the vertical stabilizers are starting to weaken. But Chip Hanauer, such a competitor, he's caught up and passed the Paddock Pools, Oh Boy Oberto, Holset Miss Madison, and he's currently in third place after being penalized that extra lap for changing lanes.
Now, one of the concerns that Chip has to have is they've run the boat without that horizontal stabilizer wing. before, but they have never had it where the side panels have folded in on the boat, and that could change things, but it matters little at this point. The Miss Budweiser takes the checkered flag. Gold Cup number 2 in a row for Tommy Deeth.
And his third overall after winning in 1976. And Bernie Little, Mike Lordy from Anheuser-Busch, and all the crew really jubilant at the docks.
Here comes your third place boat. Still a lap to go on the course, and that's Chip Hanauer. He was penalized on the start, as you heard earlier. This is second place. Chip presents Mr. Pringles, George Woods Jr. He's got to be feeling awfully good about himself at this point, and his crew and equipment. Miss Budweiser, Mr. Pringles, Miss Circus Circus. Those are the top 3 boats in the Gold Cup this year.
We got it, buddy!
Very jubilant Miss Budweiser racing team. Now let's take a look at the start. They're early. The boat on the left, Miss Circus Circus. Boat on the right, Budweiser. The tails drop. They don't want to go across that starting clock too early. Going to the left to avoid jumping across the line is the Circus Circus. That's where the penalty came from, and 1 extra lap because of that. And we'll be back with the winners of this second stop of the HFC Hydroplane Series in just a moment. Celebration continues down at the winner's dock, and right among all that celebration is Dick Crippen. Dick, what's it like down there?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Tom Deeth has a very special kiss that he's going to deliver, a very special kiss. They have just lowered his mom to the dock, and they're going to get a little family portrait here. And, of course, the Deeth's family is a racing family. They have all raced. The dad and both sons were racing, and right now they are Gold Cup winners. Tom, I got to tell you, I guess asking if you're happy is a little bit silly at this point.
Oh, it's unbelievable. This is great. To win in front of my hometown fans. You know, I won here in 1976, and I was really hard-pressed to get a good competitive ride until Bernie finally kicked me in the butt and said, hey, you got to come drive for me.
Well, it's got to be great. The memories were with you all weekend. I know that was kind of hanging with you, that you had won a Gold Cup here, and here you were again for another shot at it.
Well, the first one was for my dad, and the second one last year was for myself, because I wanted to earn another one. And this one here is for my brother and my mother.
There you go.
All right, and Mom, are you happy about this?
I'm very happy, and I know Al's happy, and the family's very proud of him. And I'm happy to be his mother.
Well, I don't think anybody's happier than this guy standing right next to you. Bernie Little, 2 in a row. You got to, I mean, this is like, you weren't even dreaming of this one.
Oh, no. When I saw him come out of that first turn, I never saw so much power. Tommy, you just done unreal.